People in Syracuse's Eastwood neighborhood say they're frustrated about a man they call the gutter guy. Good evening, I'm Samantha Croston.
And I'm Laura Lagarde. Matt and Megan have the night off. On a social media page, several posts claim a man has been walking up to houses asking for money to do gutter repairs, but doesn't seem legitimate. Investigative reporter Mary Keeler is live tonight tracking their developing story. Mary?
I've been following an Eastwood community Facebook group where several people have been posting videos and pictures claiming that a man has been walking up to houses asking people for money and saying that in exchange he'll clean their gutters, including one mom who says she actually knows her mother-in-law gave him money. Several streets in Syracuse's Eastwood neighborhood, like South Collingwood and Lillian Avenue, allegedly dealing with a man knocking on doors. Alyssa Cruz lives nearby.
He doesn't come with a truck. He doesn't come with a ladder. He doesn't, come with any equipment to do the gutters.
We saw her posting in the Eastwood Community Conversation Facebook group, warning others to be alert, and reached out. She claims she met a man who tried to get her to pay him to do work on her gutters earlier this month.
He said, my neighbor sent me over, and I was like, well, which neighbor? And he said, oh, not the one next door, but the one at the corner. And I don't know the neighbor at the corner, so he or she wouldn't have sent him over here. It was very uncomfortable, and I was in my own home, so to feel like that in my own home was like, yeah, not okay with me.
We've seen similar posts from other people in Eastwood in the online group. Right now, there's no case open with Syracuse police. Lieutenant Matt Malinowski says they've dealt with this type of issue before.
We see a lot of people reporting it on their neighbor apps or on other sort of communication, social media. That's all fine, but unless you call 911, we don't officially know about it. And if we don't officially know about it, we can't really investigate the call.
And it's not a simple answer when it comes to the question of whether or not this type of behavior is illegal.
They're case-by-case specific, why it's really important to call 911 so an officer can see, is it a theft of services, is it a scheme to defraud, or is it a civil matter, which ends up being where you hired a company and you weren't happy with the services. So it's a very fine line between the three.
And tonight, the appeal from Syracuse police is if anyone knows anything or has witnessed something or experienced something themselves related to this, to reach out to Syracuse police immediately. Police also using this issue to highlight the fact you can never be too careful or check up enough on a business or a person that you might consider for work on your home.
We've learned the gun used in the workplace shooting at RXO Logistics in Clay was a ghost gun. These weapons have no serial number. They're untraceable by law enforcement. The parts can be purchased online and then assembled to make the gun. CBS 5's Dale Ostrander is with the Live Eye in Clay right now.
Well, Michael, it's safe to say that the person targeted here was the only one injured here in this situation, but he is expected to survive. But in the moment, nobody knew what to expect, and when they found a helping hand nearby, it made all the difference. Todd St. Peter of Duncan Bright did not hesitate to lend his store to others who were in need of shelter.
Normal work day, all of a sudden we had a number of associates from next door at XPO come over to our building. They notified us that there was a shooter and a shooting that took place inside their building, and other than that, they didn't have a lot of information to go on.
Police say a 40-year-old man who worked for RXO shot one of his co-workers. Deputies releasing Monday that the firearm was an untraceable ghost gun.
It's one that you hope you never encounter. You hope and pray that everybody that works for you is above board, they're following processes, and that no one's bringing guns and weapons into a workplace. And now it seems like in today's day and age, you have to be ready for the unspeakable.
How the gunman was able to obtain this gun is unknown. Ghost guns have no serial number and therefore are very hard to track, but easy to buy on the internet.
It's the loophole, right? It's the workaround. It's the way that we've used technology in the worst element, right? In the criminal element.
These guns are illegal as the state has cracked down on them. So too are something called 80% lowers, meaning the frame of the gun or 80% of the gun is sold separate from the remaining parts. Buy those other parts and you'll find instructions on how to assemble a full firearm online.
If we can reduce the number of these guns or increase the penalties for the use of these types of weapons, well, that may dissuade individuals from purchasing parts or assembling them through 3D printing.
Our questions about ghost guns are going to lawmakers and police enforcement officers as well tomorrow. We'll be speaking to DA William Fitzpatrick about what is going on with ghost guns. Are they a danger to the county? And plus, how many crimes will they be tied to as well? And if there are any ideas on how to stop it.
Many neighbors living on Syracuse's south side live in what's called a food desert, meaning there's little access to healthy, fresh, and affordable foods. Armanda Hull has the story.
In the 13205 zip code, there are 3 mobile markets. 2 grocery stores sit outside the city boundaries, but a recent survey shows 30% of households in that neighborhood have no transportation. Now, advocates in the area have put together a short-term solution for the long-time problem.
Thank you for coming in.
There's hope growing for neighbors on Syracuse's south side.
If I can help bring produce, fresh vegetables, fruits here, possibly eggs and meat, it will be a plus for the neighborhood. They won't have to go far at all.
Valley Plaza sits in the 13205 zip code on the south side of the city, one of the poorest areas of Syracuse. Food Access Healthy Neighborhoods Now, also known as FAWN, has come up with a quick fix, partnering with Brady Farms to host a winter farmers market.
There's a 100% need in this community. We are right now in the state of the community. We do not have access to fresh food. We don't have automobiles in the neighborhood.
But their efforts are part of a bigger picture to get a full-service grocery store on the south side. There hasn't been one in the Valley Plaza since the Top supermarket shut its doors in 2018. The city of Syracuse, aware of the need, says it's still working to find the right grocer willing to come into the space.
So what we've heard is that this square footage, this space, has been challenging, either it being too large for some smaller neighborhood grocers that may be interested in looking at it, or too small for the larger grocer model.
Eric Ennis, Deputy Commissioner of Neighborhood and Business Development, says the city is working with the plaza's owners to fill the void, recognizing the impact of a food desert goes beyond just nutritional value.
We really want to make sure that there is an ease of access and convenience to fresh and local food. The city, while we may not be able to directly control whether or not a grocer is in Valley Plaza, when the community is working alongside us to bring in farmers markets, they're bringing in fresh, healthy food, and we're fully in support of that. And then where the city does have more control is what are the transportation amenities that we can make sure are being provided so that people can access that food and do it in an efficient way.
While the winter market will set up shop in the abandoned space every second and fourth Saturday of the month, between now and April, FAWN is not losing sight of their long-term goal, a fully operational grocery store.